Hello, and thank you for joining the Delbridge and Profix webinar on what to consider when looking for a CPM solution. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A window to submit them to our presenters. We'll also have the presenters' contact information at the end of the webinar if you want to reach out to them directly. With that, let's get started with Harjot from Delbridge.
Hi everyone, my name is Harjot Ghai, and I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer at Delbridge Solutions. At Delbridge, I manage our services team, and I also manage our partner relationships with partners like Profix. I have over 15 years of experience in the corporate performance management space, implementing solutions for budgeting, forecasting, reporting, consolidations, and business intelligence. And prior to co-founding Delbridge, I managed services teams at Clarity Systems and IBM as well. Mike?
Yes, my name is Mike Tyndall. I'm the Senior Vice President of Corporate and Market Development here at Profix, and I have some 40 years of experience in the technology sector, 10 of those with Profix, focusing on CPM solutions for finance and other groups within organizations.
Thanks, Mike. With regards to today's agenda, I'll share a little bit about who Delbridge Solutions is. I'll also share what is corporate performance management, because it's a question that comes up very often. I'll explain some benefits of a CPM solution and why clients implement a CPM solution to begin with. I'll also share from our experience at Delbridge Solutions, some of the key criteria that clients should consider when evaluating different CPM solutions in the market. So we're going to share with you some of the key elements that you should consider. And when you're evaluating a solution, I'll share how Delbridge can help if you do require help in finding a CPM solution as well. And Mike will share with you more about Profix as well as why Profix is a very suitable CPM solution for our clients. So Delbridge Solutions was co-founded in 2011 by myself and my business partners. And we have a lot of experience between us for the corporate performance management space. As mentioned, we came from IBM and Clarity Systems. Our company is privately held, and we have offices in Canada, the US, and in Europe. So we do have an international presence. And our customer base, we've got over 300 clients across many different industry verticals, such as financial services, government, higher ed, and so on. So we don't specialize in one particular vertical. We have consultants who have expertise in each of these verticals. And what makes us unique in the marketplace is that we have strategic reseller and implementation partner agreements with the leading CPM vendors in the market. So this includes Profix, Tagetik, Anaplan, Adaptive Insights, and so on. So because we are multi-partnered, we have expertise in each of these solutions and can help clients find the right solution for them if they're looking for a CPM solution in the market. So we have a proven methodology to help clients review different solutions in the market, and we can make recommendations of which CPM solution would be the best fit for their unique requirements. So before we start into jumping into the criteria that you should evaluate when looking for a CPM solution, I wanted to share with you, what is corporate performance management. Many times clients are unclear about what is corporate performance management and what the solution is. So to start, I want to define in layman's terms what is CPM and what business processes does a CPM solution allow organizations to automate and make more efficient. So CPM in general compiles of a set of processes and metrics that help organizations holistically measure their overall health. Key performance metrics can include financial data such as gross margin percentage, profitability, EBITDA, to name a few. Our CPM software solutions helps with managing these processes and metrics through a unified solution, which can be used to manage and improve business processes. So for budgeting and planning, which is a typical use case for a CPM solution, it allows processes such as forecasting and expense planning and employee planning, to name a few, to be automated and managed more efficiently in a solution. For workflow, a CPM solution allows organizations to guide their end users through different business processes, and also provides transparency on which steps have been completed, not yet started, or in progress in the process. For reporting and analytics, visual dashboards with KPIs allow finance users to quickly monitor the overall health of the organization. And they can also use ad hoc reporting and integration with Excel, PowerPoint, and Word to easily access their data in a timely manner to make better decisions. And for consolidations and close process, a CPM solution allows organizations and teams to close their books early so they can spend more time on analysis. Many modern CPM solutions also provide a solution for account reconciliation so that you can match your transactions to GL amounts and check for any accounts that are out of balance. And for multi-entity organization, a CPM solution can also help with minority interest calculations, perform intercompany eliminations, create journal entries, and also perform currency conversion. And lastly, modern CPM solutions like Profix are also starting to use AI to detect anomalies in the data. And they can also use AI to help predict the budget and forecast numbers that your organization should have. So some key benefits of a CPM solution, there's many, but first I want to share, why clients move to a CPM solution to begin with. Many clients, we find from our experience, typically start with Excel as their solution for managing their consolidation, budgeting, and reporting process. Although Excel is great to start, it has many pain points, especially as your organization grows. As we all know, Excel is very error-prone. You have to manage data between many different workbooks, linking tabs, and it doesn't have functionality for audit trail, managing security, so you can control what access or data users have access to. And lastly, the data is stored in Excel itself. It's not centralized in a database. So a CPM solution eliminates many of the limitations of Excel and outdated solutions. There are many key benefits, but some of the key benefits include a centralized data model or single source of truth. So this allows for you to store all your actual data required for consolidations, your budget and forecast data, all in one place. So this allows users to see the same data regardless of where they are physically located. And because the data model is centralized, the data model automatically rolls up and aggregates the data based on business hierarchies, which could be regions, entities, departments, to name a few. Having a centralized data repository or centralized database allows you to also do variance analysis very easily between your actuals and budget because the data is all in one place. A CPM solution also provides timely access to data, right? So as the data is centralized, an end user can easily access the data provided they have access to it through security. Most CPM solutions have a web interface or an Excel interface, so this makes it very easy for them to navigate the data for end users, and the data is available at their fingertips. Another key benefit is the ability to have audit trail and transparency to monitor what data was changed by who, and also allows you to revert back to any data points. This is almost impossible to do if you're just using Excel as a solution. Modern CPM solutions make collaboration much easier for consolidations and budgeting processes in particular. They do this by allowing multiple users to access the same data entry templates or reports at the same time, a feature that you cannot do in Excel. So this speeds up data entry, it reduces time to close, and allows users to put commentary in the solution to facilitate any discussion points. Workflow is also a key benefit, as it it allows users to create a very guided step for your business process, and it gives administrators to set up steps in your process that end users have to follow. This takes away any guesswork as your end users follow steps defined by a process owner. And this can be for consolidations. You can have a different process for budgeting or forecasting. And because there's a very well-defined process with steps in a CPM solution, process owners can holistically use workflow to see which steps have been completed in the process, which ones are remaining, and by who. So they can see, how much effort is still required to complete the business process. And lastly, the benefits all sum up to a key outcome, which is faster and better decision-making. Given the uncertainty of our COVID environment right now, organizations need to be agile and continually monitor their performance and pivot much faster than they did before. This can only happen with the CPM solution. So when it comes to key criteria that we recommend clients look at, some of the ones that are listed here, the first and foremost that I would recommend is the ease of use. Right? Because Delbridge is platform agnostic, we work with many CPM solutions in the market. We have years of experience implementing and evaluating solutions for our end users and clients. We find this is the most important criteria. Right? So ease of use really means how easy it is for your end users to use the solution. Is the environment similar to what they have used in the past, such as Excel, or does the web interface look like Excel? And can your administrators Can they build and maintain the solutions themselves, right? If the solution is not easy to use, it will result in low user adoption, and the confidence in the solution will also be low as well. Performance and scalability is also very important. No one likes to wait minutes for a report to open. The solution should retrieve and save data in seconds, not minutes, right? If your organization is rapidly growing, you need to also ensure that the solution is scalable, and as you add more users and data, the solution can manage the performance requirements that you have as well. A key metric we like to use as well is the total cost of ownership. The total cost of ownership includes not only the cost for the software subscription licenses, but it also includes the implementation costs, ongoing support once you have the solution live, and also any soft cost of internal resources that you have. We recommend you have all the numbers required for the total cost of ownership as you're doing the evaluation process, because you do not want any surprises when you start the implementation. Another key criteria is the features the solution has. Many solutions in the market today can implement the features you require to meet your requirements. However, a key difference is customized versus configured. Right? You need to minimize any coding and look for a solution which requires the least customization to meet your requirements. This also reduces the implementation cost as well. It's also important to understand from the vendor how often new features are added to their product. So this way you have understanding of what features are going to be in the roadmap and the frequency of those releases as well. Integration is another key benefit, as it will allow you to refresh your data from your ERP or source systems in almost real time. If, for example, you're using MS Dynamics, a solution which integrates with it will provide you data which is almost real time instead of loading the data periodically through expert input processes. Many solutions also require a lot of post-production consulting support once they're live. We recommend that clients are able to manage the solutions themselves as much as possible. This means bringing the product domain knowledge in-house and being hands-on during the implementation. In fact, our methodology for implementing a CPM solution, we always train our power users or administrators at the starting of the implementation. This allows them to use the solution with us during the implementation and also help with the build as well. So if the solution is not easy to use, your team will not be hands-on during the implementation phase. And furthermore, it'll require you to use more external consultants to manage the solution going forward. And this is not ideal because this increases your total cost of ownership significantly. Lastly, it's important that you have options when it comes to choosing your implementation partner. A CPM vendor that's well known in the marketplace will have multiple partners that you can choose from. So this gives you flexibility in choosing the right partner for your implementation based on their rates, their size, and experience. If you're limited to only work with the CPM vendor for the implementation, your risk is high because they're the only ones who can support you and implement the solution for you as well. So how Delbridge can help, with our vendor selection process? Because, if you're looking for a CPM solution, Delbridge can help with this process because we have a tried and tested methodology to help clients find the right solution for their unique requirements. As we are partnered with the leading CPM vendors in the market, we know that there's no one shoe fits all. Our process is very thorough and it consists of the following steps. For step one, we sit with you to gather your detailed requirements, both functionally and technically, for the solution. We understand that we understand what your current pain points are and your future goals, and based on that, for step two, we match your requirements with the vendors we work with. So, matching your requirements, functionality of the products that our vendors provide, we recommend a short list of 3 or 4 CPM solutions that you should evaluate. For step 3, once we are in agreement with the short list, our company will help you coordinate all demos with the vendors and help you prepare scorecards. And then we'll work with the vendors directly for software pricing and implementation costs. And lastly, for step 4, after seeing any demos and proof of concepts, we will work with you to finalize the right vendor. Of course, once you finalize the right vendor for the solution you want to implement, our implementation team can also help with the implementation as required. So I'm going to pass it off to Mike, who can provide an overview of Profix, as well as how Profix can meet some of the key criteria you need to evaluate when looking for a CPM solution. So Mike, over to you.
Thanks, Arjot. Yeah, what to consider when looking for a CPM solution. I want to continue to dig into this a bit more. And what my slides will touch on is more specifically how and why Profix can help. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit more about the context, why it's important today. I'm also going to touch on where Profix focuses, what our strengths are, and you'll see it'll dovetail with what Harjot covered off as things to look for. And then some more specifics on the benefits that we're seeing, that our customers are seeing, to make it more specific for you. So I think to start, it's worth noting that 2020, the unique year that it's been, really underscored that now is the time for finance to play an important and strategic role. So that's an important part of this context. And that was because the pandemic really revealed the need for FP&A, for finance teams, to be able to plan faster, to be able to respond more quickly, and to deal with change more rapidly. And so that requires new technology. It requires technology that's going to allow for continuous planning and to evolve from those limitations that Harjot spoke to a second ago that are implicit with spreadsheets. And so we've seen a real surge in interest in CPM as that kind of technology. And while many companies have come to it and gravitated to it initially, primarily to solve their budgeting and forecasting, what we've seen is that increasingly people are coming to find that because that budgeting function is a core process, and that because this includes the integration of various data sources through the CPM, then their overall planning processes see improvement as well. And so, whereas in this graph, you'll see that strategic planning, about 43% say that's why they seek out CPM. That's actually the growth area. Of all of these areas, that's the area that people are pointing to at an increasing rate. So we go from CPM being a tool that can improve budgeting to where it's more strategic. It's even more strategic in that it's enabling better planning. And that's not just planning within the finance, but across the company. And it's enabling the ability to do so because of the continuous manner, because of the responsiveness, because of the agility. Again, if you go back to the points that Harjot made vis-a-vis spreadsheets and Excel, those are the limitations that CPM can overcome. So this is the notion of cross-company financial planning, and it's something that more and more organizations are focusing on addressing through digital transformation. Of course, we've all tried to do planning across an organization, but invariably the hindrance is silos and silos of data. And so this too is adding to why CPM is really coming to the fore. It helps to cross those silos, to address those silos. Not too surprisingly, the analysts are touting this as a key area for finance teams in their drive to become more strategic. In fact, Gartner, who's probably one of the biggest top industry analysts, I'm sure you're aware of them, they've called this whole area out and is referring to it as XP&A, extended planning and analysis. So it is really becoming a very popular area for transformation within finance organizations. The reason for Profix having been so successful in this space, we're growing at a rate that's almost double that of the market itself. It goes back to some of the points that Harjot made before. It's that tricky balance between having a solution that is robust enough to be able to deal with complex enterprise-grade financial planning and analysis that is at the same time easy to use. And this is really the strength that the analysts call out when contrasting and comparing us in the marketplace. By the way, these attributes, in combination with the fact that Profix is very well known for a strong focus on customer value, customer experience, we have a very high net promoter score. These points make us particularly suited to that segment of the market that's seeing the greatest need right now, and is growing the most rapidly. That being the mid-market. So the vast majority of our customers, about 75%, are what we would refer to as mid-market organizations. So that ranges anywhere from 100 million to $1 billion in revenues. We still address the needs of the lower end and the upper end of the market, but we're perhaps best known as a solution for the mid-market. We've talked earlier about the issues with spreadsheets. I want to reiterate this again because up until recently, the mid-market have had a particular dependence on spreadsheets within their finance teams. But again, what we've seen is that the recent 2020 stresses have really underscored the limitations. What organizations have found is that dependence on spreadsheets, they find them to be unwieldy. They have security issues, as Harjot mentioned before, and they're very, very time consuming. So by contrast, what we see is that companies that deploy CPM often very quickly see the benefits, and the return they see is significant. This is largely because they're able to access and report on data more rapidly. So they're realizing shorter planning cycles, and they can do more frequent forecasting and modeling. And this is what the data is showing us from not just ourselves, but from our analysts in our sector, what they hear back from the customers, from the customer base. The consequence of that is that these benefits produce real material returns. So this came from a study that we saw from Nucleus Research, and their firm that focuses specifically on return on investment, on ROI studies, analysis. And what they found was that organizations that deploy CPM produced an average return of more than $3 for every dollar invested. And when they dug into the reasons for that, they found that this agility that companies got from CPM meant that they were able to pivot and more quickly realize revenue opportunities. They were able to reduce the costs of their processes, and they were able to improve the productivity of their teams. So ultimately, and I guess this is my closing statement, ultimately, what CPM, and more specifically Profix as a leading provider of CPM does, is to help finance departments, help FP&A realize their objective of becoming more strategic within an organization. And they do that by enabling cross-company planning. With that, I'll pass back to Ashley to close us out.
Great, thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening to our webinar today, as Harjot and Mike discussed what to consider when looking for a CPM solution. If you have any questions, please reach out to the presenters via the email addresses on the screen, and they'll be happy to reply with any answers to you. Thank you again for joining us, and stay well.